The dark feminine allows us to explore the symbolic representation of femininity that go beyond conventional stereotypes and highlight the more complex, mysterious, and sometimes challenging aspects of the female psyche. In today's lesson, we will explore the dark feminine, the history of her, and get into the reclamation process. So you understand, how this energy has birthed, how it is experienced in you, and how you can, in a healthy and mature way, learn to wield that power of the dark feminine. So, to begin this video, I want to introduce books to you because I base all my videos off books and my own research. So, please pick one of these up because if you are to study the female psyche, you have to look at it from different ways. We have to go to Eastern psychology and understanding a bit more of the energy system and the way that the feminine can tap into her channels and her centers, and we have to understand it from myth because connecting story to this really allows us to concretize into a universal experience of it. It's not just a solo woman fighting for herself. This is a collective roar coming forward. Archetypes, again, to be a woman, this is about the psychology of it, and then we'll go to myth with she. But pick up one of these books, any of your liking. So, to jump right into this, okay, we have to look at the dark feminine and the way that she contains herself, kind of the blueprint that has built her to be. She is the shadow of the light feminine, which means she is the carrier of suppressed instincts, rejected sexuality, really disowning what it means to be a woman. And she's lost her spiritual touch. So the dark feminine carries kind of this void like, mysterious and powerful, very uncanny essence to her because she has had to, you know, birth herself through everything which was unacceptable in the patriarchal, perspective. So this archetype contains such a powerful essence, and it's scary because she has a dual nature. This dual nature is that she is also a creator of life and a destructive force. So she holds both of these and she chooses how she expresses this nature. Now, in her light form of being a dark feminine, she expresses this through her heart, through her emotional center. And it's not a passive aggressive way, it's just a genuine heart expression stating her values. But if it's in a more destructive way, this is kind of where you see a woman who is consumed by her darkness and really her shadows manifest into her reality and concretize a reality that is harmful for her. And she may be a woman who is, harming others and really causing destruction in her reality. Although she may think that she is being assertive and strong and powerful, she may be doing more harm. So there's a dual nature that this dark feminine has. Now, if we kind of dive a little deeper into the history of this, maybe we can gain some insight on the way that this woman is holding such a degree of expression that has been so sorely misunderstood. Okay, so we can go to the myth of Persephone and Demeter, the daughter of the, queen who is married to um, um, Zeus. If we look at these two archetypes, I want to bring forward just different energies for you. Okay, we look at Persephone, and she began as the maiden, the corn. She was up, wandering the field, picking flowers when Hades broke open earth and stole her to make him, or to make her his, apprentice in a way, his wife. So this is very interesting because we can look at a woman who is so pure and, nice and sweet and kind. She is the daughter of the patriarchy, who is supposed to be put together, and everything is, dandy and good. And you notice how I'm kind of making myself up to be this people pleasing cute girl right now. But when she's up on earth picking the flowers and she descends into the darkness, she has been initiated into the realm of shadow, into the realm of destruction and darkness. So, what Persephone does in this place, this is where she gains her name, Persephone, is she has to take on the personality and the behaviors that can really be a part of this shadow realm. So, she does have to get a little bit more of an edgy side that can take on the truth and the reality and the rawness of her new reality. So, in this realm, when she's with Hades, she really begins to alter and transform herself in ways where she has to develop new tools within her emotions, within her personality, and she alters her psyche, her way of being, while she's waiting for her mother up above to, come save her. But being taken by the patriarchy, it kind of gave her a way to make a stance for her feminine values and for her nature, and to still be this powerful woman that can be a part of a darker reality. So we look at this maiden like figure who turns into a more destructive, powerful force to, to go against. And she's strong in this place. And it's beautiful because her mother, Demeter, is, she finds out that her daughter is taken by Hades. And what she does, this is another aspect of a very destructive archetype, a destructive figure. And this is a part of the dark feminine. Now, just pick out what you will as I tell you this story, because you may be a mother watching this and you may resonate deeply with Demeter. So, when she finds out that Persephone is taken, she is the, kind of like this queen of harvest. And what she does is she stops all harvesting, and the people go starving, and she is angry. She holds this huge resentment towards Zeus, her husband, because he actually made an alliance with Hades that, oh, we're going to, take her away from her mother, which every woman, psychologically, we have to go through that. We have to disidentify from the mother to become our own being. Now, with Demeter being so angry with Zeus, with the patriarchy, with the powers above, she has her own power, and she chooses that earth will not prosper. The children of earth will not be fed. I will go from the good mother who is all giving and always, producing, to this negative mother, if we're looking at psychology. We're swaying to the opposite, the polar side, and she becomes the negative mother, and she will withhold. And in this withholding, this is her rising as a dark feminine as well. Maybe in a different stage of life. She may not be in her youth, but she is now a mother. And she is going to do what is right for her as a mother to come back to her sense of self, because she has lost a piece of herself. Now she is giving back to herself in kind of a selfish way, where she actually, I think she goes to a king and a queen's house, or she goes to someone's house. I forgot who it was. I have to reread the myth, but she goes to a house and they bring her back to life by simply, feeding her and nurturing her and spending time with her. Now, this is just a woman doing that for herself. Okay? It's okay to be selfish and to not give to everyone, because in our nature and kind of how the patriarchy has really challenged us to be as women is that we are supposed to be all giving and all loving and all, all joyous and all cute. And that's not the case. So she ends up reconnecting with Persephone, and they come together. Persephone is part underworld, part earth, and Demeter has now detached from her daughter, but still gets to, find rejoice and celebration when she does come up to earth. So that's just a little story of how the dark feminine comes to rise and to be. Is like we have to look at the patriarchal systems and how it's actually taken us away from the matriarchy. This is a little bit more of history that I'm going to give to you. And then we can move on to reclamation of the feminine. But I just love to talk about this, so I'm going to continue this, and it's something very important that we need to understand. Okay, so when we look at the history of how the dark feminine has birthed, we look at the matriarchy and how it has transitioned into the patriarchy. During the matriarchal time, this was a, goddess worshiping era where everyone worshiped earth. So there was no god that was to be worshiped. It was only the worshiping of earth. And during this time, everyone, man and woman and child and animal, they were so connected to this very primal way of living. And this time, worshipped the relation to earth and to nature and to everything being very cyclical. So man, if he felt disconnected, then he and she, if they felt disconnected, it was because there was something going on in earth. So there was a very large association to the soul and to a harmonious, way of being, because nature and because Mother Earth. So that was a time when there was a lot of craziness and chaos, and it was a it was very much a barbarian, you know, driven society. Now, that was so extreme that there had to be a sway to the other side, and this is when the patriarchy comes tenfold to really share a way that we can contain the feminine. But what happened through this containing the chaos and the wildness, and the very emotional way of life, is that it fully repressed the feminine and her values, and it replaced it with more of a masculine approach of being more assertive and of being more structured. And it was very much a fast paced drive way of experiencing life, that they took the woman away from her power, away from her spirit. And we started to seek God out in the church, within the Godhead of Christ. Now, there is so much power in the patriarchy, and it's kind of a good thing that it, closed in our matriarchal, very chthonic way of being, because we needed the patriarchy to contain but not so much deny the feminine. So that's kind of why we're here right now. And there's this huge, like massive upsurge of women trying to reclaim their power and their sense of being. And it's very in everyone's face. So we have to look at this, and we have to really, really give acknowledgement to the way that the feminine has been reduced, and honor also that it was for a very big reason. Okay, so when we have a little bit of compassion for the way that women have been oppressed, then we go about integrating much differently. Much differently. We do it with, a compassionate heart where we don't have to be so assertive and aggressive in our way of stating who we are. And it can be a very gentle and delicate approach. So now we've gone over the history and a little bit of the myth behind the dark feminine. And now let's go into reclaiming this dark feminine. She needs a container. Because we are looking at shadow traits and you want to integrate these, you want to feel more juicy and sensual and alive and attuned to your, powerful emotions, you need to have a container to ritualize the experience, because if you are to try and be this dark feminine and project her out to the world and it's not fully integrated, then this can get really messy. And it can look a little, I'm just going to be honest, it can look like you're just trying to seek for attention, and you don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Okay, we are women and we are powerful. We don't want to be attention seekers and feel like we have to jump out of our skin to get a sense of acknowledgement and worth. So, ways to reclaim this in a healthy way is you need a solid container, which means you either need to work with a coach or you need to be in your room or in a small area where you can work with the energies of the shadow. Okay, I work one to one with women, so if you're interested in this work, look at my comments below. But the container is crucial. Now, the way that you are going to go about integrating these energies is we have to look at the traits as the foundation to this. So I have 4 different things that I've written down for you, and then we will kind of have a practical way of going about the reclamation. So these 4 traits, these are the healthiest, most powerful, just so authentic and holistic traits that the dark feminine has in her healthy way of expressing. Here we go. We have, she is emotionally attuned to speaking her truth, which means she's attuned to her emotions. The dark feminine is okay sitting in the void and feeling things that are very uncomfortable. She is the goddess of the underworld. She feels the wrath. She feels the chaos. She knows the shadows. Okay, so she feels emotionally what that is. And she knows how to speak that forward in the right way with a pure heart, not a passive aggressive nature. The second thing is she is physically expressive to represent her primal instincts. So, this means that because a woman was so repressed, her body was repressed. And to be physically, expressive in her involuntary movements, she is confident in the way that her body moves and sways. There's a certain rhythm and flow to being this woman, and it's just like she doesn't have to try hard, and in that she will rigidify herself. She has a flow to her, which means she is connected to her body. The third thing is psychologically sharp. She can think for herself. She does her research. The dark feminine knows. She has a sharp mind and she is witty. So to have knowledge and to really spend time learning about the things that spark her heart, that is a cushion, a foundation that is going to drive her forward and really connect her to a realm that is, it's a level up, right? Knowledge is power. And to have a little bit of mystery in you with a whole lot of intellect, there's something in that. Okay. The last thing is to be spiritually connected. to her soul, to have spirit living in her and to be connected to the higher self. The dark feminine has this powerful connection to the transcendent realm because she does see the darkness. She sees in the darkness, and even more than that, she sees better in the darkness than she does in the light. Okay, actually, she brings the light to the darkness, or the darkness to the light, vice versa. There is a homey sensation in the transpersonal where the unknown resides and where the void is constantly producing new information. Okay, so this connection to the higher self is kind of introducing that there is a triad of energies encompassing this dark feminine, and that is a maiden that is very, you know, naive and pure, and also the mother that is a protector and a nurturer, and then a crone, which is wise and detached emotionally from the experience. So we can look at this, the four different ways, traits that make a powerful dark feminine, and allow this to be encompassed through this powerful triad of a pure maiden, a nurturing mother, and a wise and detached crone. She carries all of these. She does. So we can now travel into the ways that we can reclaim the dark feminine and express her. The best way to do this is the work I do with my clients, is somatic, to give the body life again and to feel the sensual anger, the emotions back in the body, is a way to reclaim this feminine nature. It's a way to embody the archetype. It's a way to work with the behaviors. Because the body, if you have ever experienced in a situation where you feel timid, where you feel like you need to perfect yourself or make yourself small, in any of these situations, you feel your body just shrink and wither. And that is not the dark feminine. The dark feminine stands tall because she is so attuned to her intuition, because she has developed this over a period of constantly working with the more chthonic and primordial energies. So, somatic work and the practical way that you can integrate this dark feminine is through body scans, going from toe to head and becoming aware of the sensations in your body. If you would like to, you can also uh, bring forward an emotion such as feeling sensual, bring that into you and start to move the energies up and around and down. You can do body scans, breath work, or tantric exercises. That's why I held up these books that you can do a couple of studies on it and figure out the energy of it and the best way that you want to work with it. Now, I will also say, connecting with this dark feminine is about giving her a creative expression. And in this creative expression, you see her unfold. This can be in poetry, writing, singing, dance, making music, anything that is creative and something that may be out of your norm, that gets you out of your comfort zone. I highly recommend to do that, but allow it to be a practice that is also connecting you to your body, because that is the most important part of the dark feminine, is working with her through your body and allowing her to express in simple ways, kinesthetic connection, because the body was repressed it has to come back to life. And there's no better archetype to do this than the dark feminine. If you would like to look at, this is coming forward just to end the video, two different archetypes that can help you integrate and embody this dark feminine. Look at the wild woman and look at the sensual, the seducer, the seductress, because both of these archetypes are ones that want to break free from the norm and the values of life that have kept the woman so small. And uh, that fear the woman's power. And look at both of these archetypes. And I encourage you to act out the way that they would, express themselves or represent themselves to be, but do it by yourself, away from the world. Okay, away from the collective and social media. Do it by yourself starting out. Let it be quiet, let it be a ritual, because this is an initiation into your dark feminine. So I invite you, you're initiating yourself into the dark feminine, and I invite you to go outside and run wild in a field. I invite you to be in your room by yourself and attune back to the sensations of the body with simple, light touch without getting too grabby or hard or feely. Be gentle, go slow, be seductive to yourself. This is an intimate practice, a very intimate practice. And I'm very excited for you to start this journey and understand the different ways that you personally will voyage into the reclamation of the dark feminine. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment below how you experienced it, and I will see you in the next one.